I put this soil mixing area in here this spring. Just had the salvaged blocks of squares. And the neighbor gave me the worm bin. And on the right, the white barrel is molasses. And that's where I make the fermented fruit juice in that Ace can. Those are just spare buckets. That's fermented fruit juice to the left, which I use in mixing. And I do most of the mixing when I'm mixing fertilizers right here on this pad. And I just use the fermented fruit juice, and we have vinegar in one of those buckets, and that's 30% agricultural vinegar, and the other bucket is molasses. And then I've got my tank down here, so we make 300 gallons at a time, and I use this as a mixing station and carry it down and put it in the tank, and then blend it with fresh water coming in from the ditch, which is right here. And everything's disconnected, but there's a black hose over there that runs directly down into the tank. And that is irrigation water. Oh, and the worms. Oh yeah, I gotta show off the worms. Okay, let's see how they're doing. It's a little bit cold, or not cold, just chilly. Fall day. Wind's blowing. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, let me get my... Alright, let's see what we got. Oh, there. Right there. There's a ball of worms. This soil is full. Just like that. Worms everywhere. They've mixed their feed in. You can see the worms right here. Alright, anyway, I put 2,500 worms in there from Johnny's Worms. Oh, I think I started in, who knows, March. Kept them in the building until they were warm enough to go in, and brought them over here. And I'll bet I've got 10,000 because I've got that worm bin, maybe more, I don't know. Whatever. They double every 90 days, so I've fed them adequately, and you can see I've got a lot of worms. And this is the compost side of that. That stuff is just gonna compost down, but that's my new worm bin for the winter. And it's about 4 foot by 4 foot, and it's only about 1.5 feet, 2 foot high, 1.5 feet. Layer of beets, beet greens, and then I charged it with a ball of worms in the center, and some worm casting around the center of this, and then fill this up with beet greens and food, basically, leaves. And I'm just going to slowly keep adding some worms in here, and we'll hopefully keep them through the winter without freezing. I'll put some of this mulch against the edges, build it up on the outside. They'll make it. But I did get a lot cleaned up today. Trees are pruned back for winter. Pond's changing, flipping over. See, the moss is all frozen, skimmed off at the surface. I don't know if there's any fish that survived last winter. Last winter was a long winter. A lot of water though. Chickens are in there in bed. Everything's ready, and almost time to put it to bed.